Good morning. Wow, instantly all words left me. Welcome to my channel. This is Tara, and you are here at Will the Woman Crafts, my YouTube channel, and also on Instagram. I was thinking recently that I feel like I need a snappier intro. I feel like everybody's got a cute intro, but you know, it's just me. And it is Saturday morning, and we are chilling, and we got stitching to look at. So it has been a month since my last recording. I go back and forth on the 2 weeks versus the month, but it seems like a month I can hold to. And it seems like whether I go 2 weeks or a month, my run time's about an hour. So you get me sitting down talking about stitching, we're gonna be here about an hour. I don't seem to be able to go faster than that. So thanks everyone who watched my whip parade. I saw I had a handful of new followers, so welcome to anyone who is new. I hope you stick around, and hi to anyone who is returning. Happy New Year again. I said that in January. Also, shout out, I got a new emotional support water bottle this year, or this month. We'll just start off really off topic, but don't worry, we have plenty of stitching to get to. I decided that I am a baby and I am the type of person that needs like a timed water bottle. So I got this glass water bottle from Amazon, and it came with 2 lids, which I thought was fun. So it has this bamboo lid with the straw, and then it also has a more traditional screw top with a handle that would be better for leaving the house with, but this is gonna be like a house water bottle. I'm really terrible when I'm just sitting here working from home about consistently drinking water, so there's that. Okay. Get centered back on the stitching here. So I have finishes, we got starts. I don't know what happened this month. The starts just popped off. We got some non-cross stitch stuff, but mostly cross stitch. So we will just go ahead and get into it. So my first 2 finishes, we typically start with finishes or fully finished objects of cross stitch, were both start and finishes in the last week. So I had a friend who unfortunately their family pet had to be put down kind of unexpectedly, and I know she and her mom are having a really tough time with it, so I wanted to make little gifts for them. So I don't think either of them watch, or I don't think my friend watches, but in case you do, Jasmine, get out of here. But anyway, I made this for her mom. So this pattern is called Paw on My Heart by Georgia Girl Stitching, who is a former Georgian. I live in Georgia currently. I think she grew up in the Atlanta area, and a fellow Flosstuber. She designed these cute Paws in Plaid series, and I got the big one. So she has a bunch of different colorways. You'll see that the other one is a little bit different, but I chose this colorway for my friend's mom because she is a Broncos fan. And then you can customize the letter, but that is, this is what is on the the model. I didn't just stitch the T because it was on the model. That is also the first initial of their pet. So I thought that was really cute, and I sort of cheesed it a little bit because I didn't stitch the white, and I think it looks okay. This is a pre-done frame, if you can tell, that I think I bought from Michael's an eternity ago. I was really excited to finally have something that would be a good size for this. I have not used them before, but it was nice to work on. I know it's a little bit off center, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So this was, this pattern is called Paw on My Heart, I believe. And then similarly, Georgia Girl Stitching initially released Paws in Plaid. And this is the one I did for my friend. So you can see it's a different colorway, a little bit of a different look. It's about half the size. So this I want to make into a little ornament for her. And I did want to caveat that if you look up on Georgia Girl Stitching's Gumroad, the Paws in Plaid, there's 9 colorways shown. And if you get the Paw on My Heart, you can obviously use all of those colorways. It's the same plaid background, but she doesn't have them all charted. She has all of the DMC listed in Paw on My Heart, but just a heads up that if you want to stitch this one and you don't want the model green colorway, like you might want to consider also getting the Paws in Plaid if you need help with seeing where the colors go. She does have it on Gumroad, so you don't have to pay money. There's a suggested amount that I paid, but if you want this and you just want the colors, you don't have to technically pay for either. But people put work into this stuff, so I feel like it's fair to compensate them. So anyway, yeah, this one is stitched on. So yeah, I guess since this was pre-done, I'm pretty sure this is 14 count White Ada. And this is 32 count Platinum Lugana by Zweigart. I love the colors on this one. So this one I just picked because I thought they were pretty colors that she would like, not affiliated with a sports team or anything. But those were my two starts and finishes this month. I was really good. I didn't start anything in January. I know I set a lot of big goals about wanting to work on what I have. So this was the only, I didn't start anything in January. So I was trying to say, so this is my new year, new start, I guess, were those two pieces. And both of them came together pretty quickly. So that was good, particularly because I skipped a little bit of the stitching on the bigger one. Great. Yeah. So those are both of the finishes, and then we'll move on to starts, which I only have one additional start. And this one is from the so February, if you're uninitiated, is also known as February, as in birds, as in we stitch on birds in February. This was a concept born by Jessie of Mislaid Pages, who's another Flosstuber. I love birds. I don't need an excuse to stitch them, but I love an extra excuse. And this year, we'll get more into this later, Jessie released a February burb box, B-I-R-B, burb box, and I purchased that, of course. So that came in late January, and I started one of the pieces, but we'll go through some of the other stuff in haul or acquisitions, whatever you want to call it. So my first start out of the burb box is Bendy Stitchy Designs Pocketbook Peacocks. I just kind of gasped when I saw the colors on this. I love it. It's so out of Michelle's comfort zone, as of her own note on the back, and so out of my comfort zone. The box, like I said, I'll give more details later, but the box came with all of the kitted supplies if you got the spendier box. So all of the threads are dinky dyes, which I will show you, but I love reading Michelle's little notes back here, so I'll share them. It says, when Jessie at Mislaid Pages tells you they are putting together a burb box and asks you to participate, you say yes. The inspiration for this piece, excuse me, came from an antique needlepoint purse that I have in my collection. The original colors are nothing like this. The background fabric is nothing like this. This is absolutely the fabulous version of that purse. I hope you enjoy. And I do enjoy. So to tease you a little bit longer, here are the dinky dyes from the box, which I just like, what a palette, right? Like, I don't know what I was expecting in a bird themed box, but this doesn't necessarily scream. I think especially after doing all of the Lindy Stitches Burn Crush clubs, those are a very like realistic rendering of those birds. So I don't know what palette I was expecting, but it certainly wasn't this. These are delicious. I love them, and the box just had really, really everything you need. So they had these custom floss tags and thread jewelry with the logo from the box. So anyway, we'll get more into it later, but this is from that box, and I only started yesterday, but here we go. Turn this side. Oh no, the sun's about to come in and kind of ruin the lighting situation, but that is a-okay. So the box also came with a needle minder. The fabric is Mislaid Pages fabric. And again, the threads are dinky dyes. So this fabric, I purchased the 32 count linen box, so all of my fabrics are 32 count linen, but this is in the colorway Awakening. So pretty. So I put it up kind of in the corner because that was the only good red splash I had on this fabric. The rest of my fabric is pretty orange, but I wanted to get a little bit of that red in there. So I'm really happy with this so far. So this is the start. And then other than that, I have stuck to some of my plans that I talked about last time about wanting to work on things that I have. So we will move over into my works in progress, or WIPs, W-I-P. And first off, actually, I don't even know if I like committed that I wanted to do this. So this is living in a Autumn Lane Stitchery designed bag. And this is Santa's Stamp Collection. I'll take the needle minder off. Designed by Catherine Landis. This was the stitch along that went with the 2022 Nice List box. So I was watching Cece of GGKCS on YouTube, and she is also working on this, and always has the really smart idea of sometimes when she wants to get something big done, she'll divide the stitches up by weeks or days, or, you know, like a certain timeline. And she has not gotten as far as I have. And I think she was doing the math that she needed to do like 100 stitches a day or something like that to finish this before December. And I was like, oh, I'm way farther along. So like that'll take me no time at all. So I did that. I looked up the distance between now and the end of November. And by now, I mean a couple weeks ago. Whenever it was in January, I decided to do this, and the end of December, or the end of November, because I want this done before December. And the stitches I had left, because I've loaded this in a pattern keeper, and did the math that I only need to do 150 stitches a week to be done by the end of November. And 150 stitches is so few that so far every week I have exceeded that that base number. But basically I haven't done anything additional on the stamps. I have been trying to finish up the header here. So I finished the word collection. I have the word stamp now, and we're getting started on Santa's. And again, that ecru I know really kind of disappears. I like the look of it in person, but I know on camera it can be hard. So I have, yeah, like kind of all the little filigree up this side, and I just need to finish it out. So I'm hoping maybe in the next 2 weeks I finish out this top bit, and then we can get into the stamps. So I am excited. That seems like doing 150 stitches seems much more manageable, because even if I'm not excited, like once I'm going on it, like I said, 150 stitches, you know, might take me an hour or less. And so that's why it's typically pretty easy to be like, oh, I'll just do a little more, or like finish this letter, you know, let me just, So we're ahead of schedule on this. I'm happy to report. The other big goal that I set for myself was that I wanted to get to 10% on my Astronomer by Myles Pinkey, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And this one, I did the same thing. Once I kind of was doing the math for the stamp collection, I said, okay, let's see how many stitches it'll take per week to get to 10%. And it will take me 370 stitches a week to get to 10% by the end of the year. Which again, I kind of want to exceed that goal, but don't want to push it. So this one, I will probably go ahead and put like a picture up of where I was, because for you and me, I need to believe that I made progress. So this is where I'm at now. I am sticking with the black. I am a little bit scared to get into the color. I'm gonna be honest with you. Luckily there's so much black that runs continuously But I think I'm gonna kind of just do it until its natural conclusion. There's somewhere a break down, like I won't be able to go all the way down the side confidently. So I'm gonna kind of run the black out until I feel like I want to stop. But I am a little scared. I'm a little scared to go in with colors. I still don't really know how I want to attack this. If you look in the Heaven and Earth Designs Facebook group, people have, you know, just a million threads attached, and parking scares me. Anyway, I'm avoiding the problem for now. And I will figure it out when I get there. So, yeah, I have kept up with 370 stitches a week, but I have not really exceeded that much, like by a handful of stitches maybe. So I'm gonna have to get a little more serious if I want to exceed 10% in a major way. But we're almost about to hit 1%. Big milestones over here. So happy with the progress on that. And then my last whip is my, oh yeah, and I guess I didn't say, I don't think I said the fabric on either, but this is 25 count easy grid. Failing today. And the stamp collection is on 32 count linen in plush from Fortnite Fabrics. Oh yeah, and this is living in a Black Needle Society bag, Polar Express from the Nice List Box 2021. Okay, yeah, so my third whip is in a just like plastic bag. I think I got this from 123 Stitch. And this is the Dark Queen of the Earth stitch along. So I had pretty big goals on this one, pretty big aspirations as well. I was behind, and I am, I guess, still technically behind, but kind of caught up. So here she is on one of the called for linens. So this is 32 count Nightshade linen in Nightshade by Under the Sea Fabrics. They often partner with Under the Sea for their fabrics. Let's see. Gosh, it's so wide now. Should have clipped it. That's okay. So I completed all of January's piece over here. This was all of December's. Because I think actually by the time I was showing this, I don't even know if I had fully finished December's. I don't 100% remember. So this is all December. This was all January. And then now we are going up to her bodice. I didn't know if we were going to fill in this piece, but apparently not yet. So we're coming up to the bodice. I have a very meager start on February's piece. And it's funny because to look at it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so small. Yay, finally. And while it is less than these pieces down here, it's still not the smallest release we've had. They're so big. It's okay. We got plenty of month left. I'm not too worried about it, but yeah, the bodice, most of the bodice will be complete with this. And then there is some additional vines kind of coming off to the side in this month. So we are caught up to February at least, which I will take for sure, because that was, because I basically did the entirety of December and January's in January. I think I only stitched on December one day in actual December. So that has been an effort to catch up on, but it has also been a blast to stitch. So really enjoying that. So those are all of my whips. That is all of the cross stitch progress I have to show. So I like to finish out my cross stitch stuff before we go to other crafts in case you want to bail and you're not as into that. So let me just consult my notes here real quick. So for my plans, like I said, I want to keep committed to stitching on the Astronomer and on the stamp collection, my like required stitches each week. That's been working really well so far. One thing that I talked about last month that I didn't really get around to is that I have those two smaller Christmas and Halloween pieces. I won't, whatever. If you saw it, you saw it. If not, hopefully you'll see it next month. But I've not touched those. So I was thinking that maybe this month I might try doing Dark 13 stitching, and then I don't know if there's a technical name where, so basically you assign dates of the month to work on certain projects. So Dark 13 is where you stitch on a Halloween or a creepy or dark pattern on the 13th. And so I think my plan will be to work on the Halloween piece on the 13th. And then on the 24th and the 25th, you work on Christmas themed pieces, and that's when I'll work on that Christmas pin pillow by Kathy Barrett. Because I think, but for both of those, since they're so small, like even if I only work on them one day a month, I think they'll get done over the course of the year without too much of an issue. So I'm gonna try to stick to that. We'll see. You know, your schedule fills up real fast, but I think that might be an interesting way to try to do it. I haven't done that before. So yeah, why not try something a little different, see where it gets you. Because like I said, the weekly stitch stuff has been working for the past 3-ish weeks that I've done it. So we will see. Additionally, so I mentioned that it is February, right? It is bird stitching month. So I started one, but I do have a second start, which I've talked about before, and I haven't started it yet, but I might start it. I don't know when I'm gonna start it. I'm starting it this month though, is I want to start my next Bird Crush Club pattern, and that is the August release. Yeah, number 8, the Lewis's Woodpecker. Not too much to say about that, other than another goal I had for the year was to get through the rest of this series. Get through sounds so horrible. I'm very excited about stitching. It's to continue along and complete the rest of the series. And this is the next one that is up, and starting it in February seems very apropos. So that is the hope. That is the hope. But we have other things getting in our way, don't we? All the time. So before, which this is in a bag that I made with my Bird Crush Club charm. I have all my Bird Crush Club fabrics and patterns in here. So I have all the flosses and the fabric. That one's ready to be started when the moment strikes, at some point this month. And my last cross stitch plan is I actually want to have another start this month. I mentioned in my January Flosstube that I have sort of had a return to video games a little bit, and I've been playing a lot on Breath of the Wild, which is like the latest Zelda game, until May, when they just announced that the new one is coming out, or not just announced, but the release date of the new game is in May. And I'm going to show you here. I kid you not, I finished the game, and that day on Instagram saw, I'm going to show you the picture here, a pattern from the Needle and Floss that is a Zelda Biscornu. And I bought it immediately. I have all the colors already, which is great. So love when that happens. And so if you're interested and you're unfamiliar, we have like kind of the classic Hylian shield, which Link always has. And then we have like the Triforce. There's little life hearts, and it's, there's 3 hearts, but or they call them heart containers. And it's 2.5 are full, so, which is very me. I'm always getting hit. And then we have the little fairies in the center and the green rupees. And then there's not a picture in the PDF of the bottom of it, but on the bottom, there's 4 master swords and then additional like rupees and all the colorways. Anyway, it is so stinking cute. I love it so much. I love the colors. I will show you. So I have this, I think, kitted up. It doesn't say what the fabric in the model is, but it doesn't matter because I definitely don't own it. Looking through what I have, but I did find, there's not gonna be a great way to show this. I'm gonna try to show you. So here are the colors. I was doing a floss toss here. So these are kind of all the ruby colors. These are kind of in the shield. This is also in the shield. And I think I'm gonna stitch it on this, which, if I can get all these out the way, is Fox and Rabbit 32 count linen in ballet slippers. I think this will be really cute. So that one I might honestly start today. I don't know. I'm so excited about it. It just brings me so much joy, and I had so much fun. Even though, quick side story, I have not historically played a lot of like what I consider hard video games or real video games, which is, you know, kind of a toxic mindset, but you know, I'm typically much more of like an Animal Crossing or maybe like Mario with very defined levels. I've never really done a game like Breath of the Wild or any of the previous Link games, which to me are much more like open world and you got to keep track of everything that you're trying to do. But I loved it, and I feel like I not only want to play the new game, but that I might want to try to go back and play some of the older games. So anyway, apparently this is a new interest of mine. Because I'm not sitting in a circle of other interests I had going on. But we're just riding it. We're just running with it. It's nerdy, it's cute, it's fun. I'm having fun. So that is all I have to say about that. So lastly, for the cross stitch section, I will go through my haul, of which I don't really have much to show you because I've been pretty good about not buying stuff. I have something on the way. I have some threads on the way. And other than that, what came in, like I said, was the bird box, which I will not do like a whole unboxing. You can look those up. But I did want to show off the other, there were 3 patterns in the box, and I wanted to show off the other patterns and their respective fabrics because I think that was like the really special part. I'm realizing now that the patterns are over there. One moment, please. Okay, so we are back. So like I said, there were 3 patterns, 3 fabrics, and all of them use the same threads, which I love that as a theme, that like you just release a set of threads and everybody uses the same colors, and then it's all in the box. So other than Michelle's pattern, Jessie the box designer, Mislaid Pages, released their first number 001 pattern, Spring's Promise, with these beautiful swans. I love this, and they had a really sweet story on their unboxing. I recommend, if you're interested, checking out their unboxing because Jessie explains, you know, all of the thought and all of the decisions behind what's in the box, and gives you tips on how to buy the box next year if you are interested. And yeah, just kind of the stories behind some of the stuff in the box, and this pattern, which is an homage to their mom, which is really sweet. And the fabric on this one is in the color Renewal. Which is here. Oof, so pretty. This is my first Mislaid Pages fabric, and I understand the hype. I understand the hype. It's ice dyed, very custom. I mean, and I recommend like looking at other people's unboxings just from the fact that everybody's fabric looks so different. So yeah, love that, love that. So that's Jessie's pattern. And then the third pattern that we got is from Dee and Kari. And not only did we get the pattern, we got a print of Kari's art, which is gorgeous. And this is the resulting pattern. So they titled this one Rebirth. Kind of a mouthful, but a play on rebirth. And it is on the fabric New Spring. New spring. So here's my piece of new spring. So you can see, I mean, you really got to think about like where you want to put these, because they're not going to take the whole fabric. So, you know, it's like, ooh, do I want more of this going on? Do I want pure blue? Do I want some of these lighter patches? It's hard. It's hard to choose where to start on these fabrics, but it's a challenge I'm willing to take on. So yeah, love this. Great box. So that is the cross stitch haul acquisitions I wanted to show off. So that is it for all of the cross stitch and stitching related stuff I had to share. I will now move into other crafts, which today includes knitting basically. And I only really have 2 or 3 things to show. So moving right on over, I did have let me move this back up one more time. I did have a finish. Sorry, finishes. This is kind of a fully finish. I showed this Gengar Amigurumi last time, but I put his face on. And I'm really happy with him. So I just wanted to show that off. It was a challenge. There are, so I will say, something unique about this Pokemon book that I got this out of is the fact that it's felt pieces for the face. It's not Amigurumi. I do think the challenge there is that normally when I think Amigurumi, I don't really tend to worry too much about what the called for yarn is, because it doesn't matter. It's not a fitted garment. It doesn't matter if the gauge, if the size is different, right? However, because these are stencils in the book, you don't really want to get too far away from the size and weight of the original design before you have to make some serious adjustments to the stencil. So that is a little bit of a drawback. And in this case, I think compared to the picture, the eyes are a little small, the mouth was a little small. I kind of tried to just like by hand as I was cutting it, make it a little bit bigger. But yeah, and I haven't really cut felt in a hot minute. And to try to get the iris and the little pupil done in felt was nearly impossible. I actually gave up on the little white sparkle in his eye there, and I had some little like thin craft foam, and I used that instead because the felt was just like defelting as I was trying to trim it down to size because it was so teeny. But yeah, really happy with that. And he will go live with my mom, so probably last time we'll see him for a while. So that was a fully finish. And then I had a new start. So I mentioned that I have a coworker who is expecting, and I wanted to make another of the Stephen West Vertices Unite baby blanket, which I guess I'll put a picture up. If you have been around, I made one of these for my cousins and I really liked it, so I thought I would repeat it. And I got inspo from the mama to be that the nursery is kind of like a pink and gray, which is funny because my cousins were like teal and gray. But I went back to Cascade 220 and I again drew like an inspiration picture from Stephen West's website on like colors. So this is what we got going on. It's a 5-color blanket. This is the colors I'm using. Oh my goodness. But you get the vibe. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of autumnal to me. Oh goodness. However, I'm not very far on this, and baby is due next month, so I gotta get this in gear. But I am on the first panel. So this is worked entirely in garter stitch. And these 2 colors are looking real wizardy to me. But I'm trying to trust the process. I had this kind of same concern last time that like I didn't really like the colors sometimes in the individual panels, but the whole thing together I think worked. And ultimately, if you ever having self-doubt moments about gifts, because I know I've had them, you know, stitching up the paws and whatever, every time I make a gift for someone, there comes a point where I have questioned the decision to give them the gift, and they're gonna love it. You made something. This is a speech to you and to me. You took your time, your experience, your skills, and you handmade something for someone. That is such an act of love. Don't get too twisted up about it. And if you give something to someone and they have the audacity to have an issue with it, you are stricken from the handmade gift list, my friend. Stricken. And I know she's gonna love this, no matter what. So I just need to tell myself that. So thank you for that brief pep talk with me. Great, so that blanket is going. And then last but not least, which the problem is that this is what I really want to be knitting. But the blanket is on a timeline. And this is my Star Wars Rebel scarf. The book is over there. I'll put the picture up. And this is a double knitting project. And you can finally see, I haven't really made a lot of progress, but any progress is progress, right? So this is the front of the work. I have this to help remind me. And you can get a better sense, I think, now that we're up into this section where we're going to have 3 ships, that you can kind of see the inversion better. So you can see on this side that the background is black, and over down here it's white, and over here that it's black and then white. I did switch these to straight needles because it occurred to me that I actually didn't need to be on double points, and the double points that I had were kind of exactly the length or the width of the work, and it was really starting to stress me out. So I did switch these to some straight needles that I purchased at Joann's. They're just like the Susan Boyle's metal ones or whatever. I don't really have fancy needles. But yeah, I love this. I want to get back to this, but it takes kind of like, the most I feel like I can listen to is like soft music. It does take a lot of focus, but it is getting slightly easier. I can see that with time it will get slightly easier. But like I said, we got a baby blanket to crank out, which it's funny because when I made the blanket for my cousins, I sort of was like, oh, this turned out so fast. Like I didn't even spend any time on it. But then when I was thinking about the time frame in which I knitted that, I was doing all the work travel. So I had multiple flights per week. When we were in the field, we were kind of like, we didn't have to move around a whole lot. And so I could sit and knit. So I think I vastly underestimated how many hours I was putting into that. It felt short. I'm not a very fast knitter. So like I said, big plans in the other crafts category is to just kind of kick it into gear with that blanket, so it can be done in time. But yeah, I think that is all I have craft wise. Oh, I did want to shout out, I'm looking at my notes real quick. I know a lot of floss tubers are big bookworms and have kind of like book sections. I don't read consistently enough to feel like I can include that as a section in my regular floss tubes, but I did want to shout out a book that I am reading right now, because I think it might be of interest if you have not seen it. I saw this through like social media and stuff, but there is a cozy kind of series, and the series is called Stitches in Crime. I'll put the first book up. So I'm reading the first book, which is called Crossed by Death. I don't remember exactly. I think there's maybe 8 or 9 books in this series. And they're all cross-stitch puns. And the author is ACF Bookens. And when I looked them up, they actually also author under another name too. But their name is escaping me right now, so I'm not gonna try to guess. But ACF Bookens, Crossed by Death. I'm about 75% of the way through the book. It's only like 200-ish pages. It's very short. But it's just very cute, and you know, I don't think it's like a life-changing book, but I'm having a good time, and I think that, you know, since there are so many avid readers in the community, I thought I might be of interest to someone else. The setup is basically that there's a lead woman, and she is a salvage kind of historian type person. So she goes through this old gas station and finds a body, and is sort of involved with the case from there. I don't know yet if she is like the thread, if that character stays through all of the books, or if they're sort of like independent of each other. But in this book, this is our girl. And she has a son, which I think is kind of one of the most like standout parts of the book to me. Is she is a single mother, and there are so many like descriptions in the book of her accommodating for her child and for child care, which I think is not often articulated in books. And as someone who doesn't have a child, to be honest, there are kind of moments where I'm like, okay, I get it, you gotta like give the kid to somebody, but that's reality, you know? Like, this is stuff that goes on. So there's a lot of stuff that's related in time scale to like her child, where she's like, okay, I can go talk to this person, like I have an hour before my kid like has a meltdown, or like he didn't get a nap today, so like we are, you know, in big trouble. Like, thank goodness that my parents can cover here. So, you know, it's kind of a really important like trope. That's not the word I'm going for. Important descriptions, important reality that I think is not often captured in books. And I do, like I said, because even when I have a moment where I'm just kind of like, okay, we get it, you gotta like put the kid somewhere, I'm like, but that's reality. Like, for parents, for single parents, for guardians, you know, for anyone who has a child that they're taking care of in their life, like it is a center focus, and your world revolves around their care. So I do appreciate it, even though I have moments where I'm not appreciating it. Then I need to remind myself to appreciate it. So anyway, it's been cute, it's been cozy. I feel like I'll probably keep going. The first book was free on Kindle. I don't have Kindle Unlimited or whatever that is, but yeah, the book was free on Kindle, so worth giving a shot, quick read. And yeah, I think that's all the stuff that I have to share with you. I will probably see you in March. I have a trip later this month to Savannah for a friend's birthday, and I don't know if there's any cross-stitch stores. I'll have to go look, see if there's any crafty shenanigans I can get up to down there. So I hope you're all having a lovely month so far, that the start of the year has been gentle to you, and if you've made it this far, thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's all I got. I hope you have a great one, and you got some great stitchy progress in during this. I will see you soon. Bye!